This segment of Naperville Sports Weekly is brought to you by the Daily Herald.
We're joined by Mike Bremner, the girls golf coach here at Benet Academy. Thank you for joining us, Coach.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So 2 state qualifiers on this team had to be just an incredible accomplishment for you as a coach this season.
It was exciting. Both girls were really impressive all the way through the year. I was really proud of the way they played, and then to see them both perform the way they did in the sectional, so that, you know, both qualified obviously, but the way that happened in the sectional was really exciting to watch them both have playoff opportunities where Lauren got an opportunity to medal in the playoff and Abby got a chance to play her way into it in the playoff. It was really exciting to watch them, yeah.
And then just looking at what Lauren was able to do in her freshman year, just incredible to be able to make the trip to state, let alone finish in the top 5. Just what were some things that you saw from her game that let you know that she was going to make an impact this early on?
Well, even watching her early in the year, in our tryouts before, in practices before the year, the competitions began, and then especially watching her go out at Coyote Run and shoot a 67, a 4 under 67 was really impressive. She turned around and came back to Naperville Country Club the next day and shot an even par to run away from the field in the McGonagle Invite there. She's just incredibly poised as a player. For a 14-year-old kid to come into her freshman year and play as solid golf as she played was really impressive. But she's just one of those kids who she's kind of unflappable. Nothing gets to her. She doesn't allow her emotion to get the best of her. And you watch her on her best days and her worst days, and she's just, you know, got a calm, even demeanor, which is really impressive.
And you mentioned poise, and that can be one of the most important things in golf, where you kind of just have to take it hole by hole. What are some ways that you come in looking at the team as a whole and kind of letting them know that, you know, just taking it hole by hole and not really looking ahead too much or thinking about a score in the end?
It's a good question. We do emphasize, I think there's probably a lot of golf coaches who do this, but, you know, focus on the next shot, focus on the next hole. You can't score 5 under or 20 over until you score on this hole, whatever you're going to score. So really you have to focus on the next shot. You can't let yourself get down about something bad. You know what, one bad shot can't turn into a bad hole and a bad round and a bad life. You can't let that happen. And, you know, you can't carry the weight of the world on your shoulders every time you do something that you're not happy with. And at the same time, you can have a great hole and you can, you know, run away with a birdie or 2 birdies in a row, and then your game can go south on you in a hurry. So you just got to kind of keep that even keel. We do talk about that quite a bit, and, you know, the best players are the ones who are able to discipline themselves enough to live by it.
So we talked about Lauren a little bit. Looking at Abby Bitto as well in her junior year, how many years has she been playing at the varsity level for you?
Well, I've been coach for 2 years here at Benet for girls golf, and Abby played as a freshman as well. So this was her 3rd year, my 2nd coaching her. She has competed on the varsity level all 3 years, but really these last 2, she's made such marked improvement over the course of the last couple of years. You know, cut 10 strokes off her score from freshman to sophomore year, another 10 strokes from sophomore to junior year. And then it's easy when you're a mediocre golfer to cut a few strokes off, but when you're already playing really well, like she was her sophomore year, to cut another 10 strokes off your scoring average just speaks to her commitment to practice and work at it. And she's really driven and focused, which has been, you know, it makes it easy to coach kids who are as, you know, hard working and individually driven as both Abby and Lauren are.
And you mentioned the drive, and only being able to coach them, you know, golf season, one of the shorter in high school athletics. What are some work that they put in the off season, perhaps over the summer, where they really get a bulk of their work coming into the school year that you've noticed from Abby and perhaps some other girls on the team as well?
Yeah, Abby committed. Abby was invited to participate in a program over last summer that really, I think, changed her game for the better. She was invited to do this and committed a ton of time to it, and I think it really paid off. I think, you know, obviously, as you say, it's a short season, it's compact, and we compete most of the time. So the opportunity for improvement mostly does happen in the off season and in the few practices we kind of sprinkle in throughout the year. And she took advantage of every one of those as well. But her work in the off season and her commitment to this program that she was invited to paid great dividends for her.
And just looking at the team at the end of the year, obviously those 2 are really going to stand out above the rest. But who are some other girls on the team who you thought had great seasons or made some marginal improvements that you were just really proud of as a coach in 2015?
You know who played well for us in the regional? A girl named Georgia Prock. She'd been competing in some of our varsity matches and some as a JV participant throughout the year. And you know, she came to our varsity match and competed in the regional and was one of the scores that counted for us. And I'm excited to see her. I think she works hard on her game. I'm excited to see her, you know, work towards improvement. And then Samantha Coffey, who's a sophomore this year. Between her freshman year and her sophomore year, I saw some of those same changes in the way she played and the approach she took, and ultimately the scoring changes that happened that I saw with Abby. I think if Sam can, you know, continue to work on her game and cut another 6 or 8 strokes off her score, I think that would really play well for us in terms of, you know, the way scoring works in girls golf. You need 4 scorers, and I anticipate that you know, Samantha could be one of those scorers for us next year, and she'll be a difference maker for us in a lot of ways. I know what I'm going to get from Lauren. I know what I'm going to get from Abby. There's a couple other girls who, if they, you know, sprinkle in some good scores throughout the season next year, we could have a real successful season.
And with so many young, talented golfers on this team and a lot of players returning, particularly the 2 state qualifiers who will be coming back next year, how exciting is that for a coach, knowing that, you know, the work that they're going to be able to put in the offseason coming into next year, Benet could really be a very talented team next season?
Yeah, well, it's very exciting. It really is. It's not every coach who knows that they're going to have a high quality team before the season even begins, and to know already that we've got a great foundation to put together a good run in our duals matches, to make a run at winning some invites, and then obviously making a run in the state playoffs would be real exciting to do next year. And I think we have some of that foundation already. So, you know, to answer your question, I think it's real exciting.
Was there a particular moment, perhaps individually or as a team, at a particular invite that really stands out to you above some others from this year?
I think going back all the way near the beginning of the year and that McGonagle Invite, when Lauren went out there and just really beat the field. And the McGonagle Invite is all the kids from the Naperville schools, both boys and girls, as well as the Benet students. And they set up the course. The way Naperville Country Club defends itself as a course is really with tough pin placement and difficult greens. And if I recall correctly, Lauren didn't 3-putt any greens all day there. And, you know, to watch her kind of run away from the field just kind of set a tone that said, wow, this is going to be a really good team. And in that invite, we beat Naperville North that day, and it took first in the invite. And they'd beaten us the day before at an invite at Coyote Run. And we knew kind of all year that Naperville North was going to be one of those teams that once we see them in the regional, it might be us or them. The sectional, it'll be us or them. And I knew right away that we were going to be competitive when I saw the score we put up at McGonagle.
The final stretch of the season can be the most difficult for a golfer. You know, looking at conference, regional, sectional, state, you really need to put in your best rounds in that last couple weeks of the season. For you as a coach, how do you kind of keep your players' minds at ease? Because, I mean, it can be very stressful heading into those meets knowing that, you know, one bad hole, you know, can really kind of be the difference between qualifying and not.
Yeah. A couple things. These girls have great discipline themselves anyway, and a lot of the girls will play in the summer, long rounds, 18 holes, several days in a row. So the grind of actually the physical grind of it, which is a grind. You know, it sounds silly to say that golf, where you're swinging a club, is really difficult, but it can be it can be physically challenging to just walk 18 holes, carrying your bag, swinging, you know, day after day, doing that. These girls are in good physical condition and they work hard and that kind of thing. The mental side of it, as you say, where you kind of have to keep your composure if something doesn't go your way, so that you don't let one hole turn into a bad round and turn into maybe not qualifying. You know, that's just repeating it, visiting with them, talking with them. As coaches, we can talk with the players until they get on the green, and there's times when you leave them alone because you know you just don't want to be in their head, and there's other times you can see that, you know, maybe they need a little word of encouragement or some good advice. And you know, these girls, in terms of their skill level, are beyond my capabilities as a golfer. So I think what I do offer to them, to the extent I offer something, is just helping them to refresh their approach, maybe take a new perspective, to calm down, to regroup, that kind of thing. And these girls are good at listening and responding to that.
Well, congratulations on a terrific season, and best of luck the rest of your tenure here, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Nico. I appreciate it.
Thank you.